Quote, when Major General John M. Custer was the director of intelligence at U.S. Central Command, he grew angry at how little helpful information came out of the National Counterterrorism Center. In 2007, he visited its director at the time to tell him so. Quote, I told him that after 4.5 years, this organization had never produced one shred of information that helped me prosecute 3 wars. 3 wars? Hold on a minute. Iraq, Afghanistan, and what's the third? That was the great catch by Spencer Ackerman, a national security reporter now at Wired.com, when the Washington Post published their big expose this summer on the giant post-9/11 intelligence bureaucracy that we don't fully understand and we fund anyway, even though no one's totally sure of who it serves except itself. The National Counterterrorism Center has never produced one shred of information that helped me prosecute 3 wars. So says the military intelligence guy. 3 wars. Iraq, Afghanistan. What is the third one? Here's one idea. Today it's reported that we shot a missile from an aircraft southeast of a town called Miram Shah. Somewhere between 2 and 8 people killed. Yesterday another one west of that same town, 3 people killed. Another one yesterday in the town of Data Kel, 4 people killed. We hit the same town on Saturday too, 3 to 4 people killed. 2 more missiles fired by aircraft on Wednesday, 12 to 19 people killed. Another 4 to 6 killed by another missile a week ago today. Last weekend we hit that same town we hit yesterday, and this weekend 4 to 5 killed then. We have shot missiles at people in Pakistan 20 times in the past 23 days, at least by my count, from what I can figure from reports. No one really pays attention to us shooting missiles into Pakistan anymore. It just gets filed into drone strikes. I know what those mean. And we've ceased really worrying about them. But we've never done them at this pace before, at least as far as we can tell from what's being reported. Why are we doing them so fast and furious now? Is it because we have better intelligence than we did before, so we know more about what we should be shooting at there? Does it have anything to do with the fact that the Pakistani government seems almost as inured to those drone strikes now as the American public does? The Pakistani government has almost stopped their even perfunctory complaining about using our unmanned robot planes to shoot people on their territory, even as our own country's leadership will not readily admit that we are doing that. But we have never done them at this pace before. Are things happening there now at such an intensity because we have better intelligence? Are they doing that? Does it have anything to do with the Pakistani government's take on all of this? When the Pakistani government has stopped their even perfunctory complaining about this, and our own country's leadership isn't admitting that we are doing this, when that isn't happening anymore, we're put in a situation where we have to wonder when these things are going to become a matter of national debate. Now the Pakistani government has started complaining again recently, and they've done so because we've crossed another line. Today, NATO confirming that it is not just drones anymore, it's NATO helicopters with actual pilots flying into Pakistan now in combat. The first NATO airstrike on Friday killing 49 people. The second one on Saturday killing another 4 to 6 people. And the Associated Press saying a third one today killing another 10 people. To the extent that the world's attention is focused at all on Pakistan lately, it is because of the devastating flooding. Flooding that covers an area that would reach in this country from the Canadian border to Florida. The disaster area there is huge. The relief effort is going to last for years and cost billions. But meanwhile, quietly, America's not very secret third war rages there, undebated and undeclared. Joining us now is former Ambassador Richard Holbrooke, the Special Representative for Afghanistan and Pakistan. Mr. Ambassador, it is great to have you back on the show.
Wow.
Have I just introduced a whole bunch of stuff that you can't talk about?
I want to talk about the floods, but what you said was pretty interesting.
Well, let's talk about the floods first.
Thank you.
I mean, the floods are...
Thank you for showing that map.
Massive.
Yeah, because, you know, floods aren't like tsunamis and earthquakes. Those happen, boom, the press moves in, stories of miraculous recoveries and rescues, and then assistance. But flood in Asia, it's an old story. And we put that map together, and I'm so grateful for you for putting it up, because we wanted people to understand what this is. It's an area the size of Italy, stretching from the Canadian border to Florida. 20 million people are homeless. Now, I was just out there last week, now people are beginning slowly to come back to their homes. But there are no homes left. They've been washed away. Livestock has been destroyed. Crops are gone. Every bridge is out. By the way, in the same area you were discussing a moment ago, there may or may not be a connection. I'll leave it to you to decide whether there is or not. But the bridges are all gone in that area. The flooding has washed away the roads, and so now we're in the early recovery phase. Hillary Clinton participated in a big meeting at the UN last week. We're going to go to Brussels to talk about how we could get more money. We're going to go to Pakistan for more. It is, as you said, going to cost billions of dollars. But I do want to make a critical point to Americans watching. The emergency phase, the phase we're still in, the U.S. is going to be first with the most. That's what we do. There are ton of American helicopters and airplanes in that area, which you didn't mention when you discussed the attack across the border in the Miram Shah area. These people are well regarded all over the country. Pakistanis can see that Americans are there, and I'm proud of that as an American. But that's in the early recovery phase, in the emergency phase. This billions and billions of dollars for reconstruction for 1/5 of the country. I have said publicly, and I want to stress it again tonight, that the international community cannot pay the 10, 20, 30 billion dollars, 40 billion, whatever it's going to cost. Pakistanis are going to have to step up and take the lead here. We'll give support, the World Bank will, the UN system, but they have to do it themselves. They have to.
Capable of doing it?
Well, you know, their maximum tax rates are much lower than ours, and there's a lot of tax evasion there, as has been well reported. And we can't ask American taxpayers to pay the burden if the Pakistanis don't raise their own revenue, and we've been very open about that. So I don't want to leave people with the impression we're going to pay for the reconstruction phase. But for example, Rachel, 5,000 schools are gone. They're going to consolidate and build less. Every bridge is gone. It's tough.
In terms of the long-term commitment there, obviously the United States has been looking for a way to try to do constructive development work in Pakistan, essentially as a means of counterinsurgency, essentially as a way of trying to empower a government there.
Not counterinsurgency. In fact, quite the contrary. When we took office, all American assistance was over in the tribal areas, and it was very small, the area you were talking about. Hillary Clinton went there, I went there. We decided to restructure our assistance so that we'd focus on the bulk of the people who live in the Punjab, who live in Sindh, who live in the area you just showed on that map. And we and John Kerry and Dick Lugar in the Senate and Chairman Berman in the House put together the very well-known Kerry-Lugar-Berman legislation, $7.5 billion of economic assistance. It started to come in. Hillary went there in July and announced energy projects, water projects. Now we're reorienting for this situation. But it's not, our aid in Pakistan is not counterinsurgency aid. It's aid for the people of Pakistan in their own merit. And as we keep trying to say to Pakistanis, we're not doing it because of Afghanistan. We're not doing it because Al-Qaeda is in the West. We're doing it because it is an essential thing to do.
The carefulness of your language, the precision of your language there, I think an important window into how delicate and complicated our relationship is with Pakistan right now. Do you mind holding on for a second and we'll come back?
Not at all.
We have to make money for the General Electric Corporation for a second, but we'll be right back.
Which is also working in Pakistan.
That was not meant to be a prompt. Richard Holbrooke is our special guest. We'll be right back.